Let me tell you about a woman named Carol. Carol is 68 years old. She lives in a modest two-bedroom condo outside of Columbus, Ohio. She is retired from 32 years as a school cafeteria manager. She is on a fixed income like most seniors. Every month, she watches her Social Security deposit like a hawk, because if the check is even one day late, she is making decisions between her blood pressure medication and the electric bill. That is the reality of retirement in America in 2026. Last February, Carol slipped on some black ice in her driveway and twisted her ankle. Nothing broken, but it hurt like hell for weeks. She limped into her local CVS, grabbed a bottle of ibuprofen, some ace bandages, a tube of Voltaren, and a heating pad. The total came to about $47. She gritted her teeth and put it on her credit card, the one with the 19% APR, because that is what you do when you need pain relief and you're on a budget. Here is what Carol didn't know. Tucked away inside her Medicare Advantage plan was something called a wellness allowance. It is a prepaid account that loads money onto a special benefit card every single quarter. Her plan gave her $125 every 3 months. That is $500 a year. Tax-free, sitting there, waiting for her to use it. That $47 CVS run could have been completely free. But Carol had no idea the money existed. She'd been on this same plan for 4 years. That is $2,000 in unspent wellness benefits, evaporated into thin air quarter after quarter, because nobody told her. And here's the part that gets me. Carol is not the exception. She is the rule. According to industry estimates, only about 30% of Medicare Advantage enrollees fully use their wellness and over-the-counter benefits. 30%. That means 70% of seniors. Millions of people are leaving hundreds of dollars on the table every single year. And I want you to think about what that number actually means. Not in the abstract, not as a statistic. Think about what $200 means to someone whose total monthly income is $1,600. That is a car payment. That is a month of groceries. That is the difference between filling your prescription and splitting your pills to make them last longer. We're talking about real money. Grocery money, prescription, copay money. Money that could buy the vitamins your doctor keeps telling you to take, or the blood pressure monitor you've been meaning to pick up, or the grab bars for the shower that your daughter keeps begging you to install. It is the kind of money that could let you buy the name brand pain reliever instead of the store brand that doesn't work as well. It is the kind of money that could cover the copay on a specialist visit you've been putting off for 6 months because you couldn't afford the $40 fee. Instead, that money disappears. Poof, gone, because nobody explained how it works. And you know what makes it even worse? The insurance companies love this. They are counting on you not knowing. They send you a thick packet of paperwork every year, the annual notice of change, the evidence of coverage, and buried on page 30, 7 in 8-point font, between a paragraph about out of network deductibles and a table about prescription drug tiers, is a section called Additional Benefits, or flexible spending, or some other deliberately forgettable name. They don't put it in bold. They don't put it on the summary page. They don't send you a postcard that says, hey, by the way, there is $500 with your name on it. Of course they don't. because every dollar you don't spend is a dollar that stays in their pocket. Let me explain exactly what this benefit is. Because if you are on Medicare, or you have a parent who is on Medicare, this is the single most important thing you will hear today. The wellness allowance is not a government check. It is not a rebate. It is not a tax credit. It is a supplementary benefit offered exclusively through Medicare Advantage plans. That is the private insurance alternative to Original Medicare, also known as Medicare Part C. If you have Original Medicare, Parts A and B, you do not have this benefit by default. It is only available through Medicare Advantage plans. And here is where it gets tricky. Not every Medicare Advantage plan has it. Some do, some don't. And even among the plans that do offer it, the amount varies wildly. Some plans give you as little as $25 per quarter. That is $100 a year. Not nothing, but not life-changing. Other plans give you $200 per quarter, which adds up to $800 annually. I've seen some plans, particularly the more generous ones in competitive markets like Florida and California, that offer combined allowances of over $1,000 when you factor in grocery benefits and utility subsidies on top of the wellness money. But let's talk about the most common number you'll encounter. The vast majority of Medicare Advantage plans that offer a wellness allowance fall in the range of $250 to $500 per year. That is the sweet spot. That is what most seniors are walking away from without knowing it. Now, what can you actually spend this money on? This is where people get confused, and I don't blame them because the rules are different for every single plan. But let me give you the general picture. The most common category is over-the-counter health products. We're talking pain relievers, allergy medicine, cold and flu remedies, antacids, laxatives, bandages, first aid kits, and medical tape. Basic stuff. The kind of stuff you're buying at CVS or Walgreens. Anyway, if you take a multivitamin, a calcium supplement, vitamin D, or any kind of dietary supplement recommended by your doctor, that is almost always covered. Blood pressure monitors, glucose test strips for diabetics, thermometers, heating pads, ice packs, compression socks. These are the classic wellness allowance purchases. You can also get things like denture care products, reading glasses from the pharmacy rack, hearing aid batteries, and mobility aids like canes or walkers. Now, here is where some plans get interesting. In recent years, a growing number of Medicare Advantage plans have started expanding their allowances beyond the typical OTC products. And I want to walk you through each of these categories in detail because this is where the real value lives and where most people have no idea what their plan actually covers. Some plans now let you spend your wellness money on fresh groceries, fruits, vegetables, lean meats, dairy products. We're not just talking about Ensure shakes and nutrition bars anymore. We're talking about actual food. Some plans have partnered with major grocery chains to create a preloaded grocery card that works at the checkout counter just like a debit card. Other plans allow you to use the money for transportation. This is huge for seniors who don't drive or who live in areas with poor public transit. You can use your wellness allowance to pay for rides to doctor's appointments, to the pharmacy, to the grocery store. Some plans have even partnered with rideshare companies to make this seamless through an app. And then there is the home safety angle. Some plans allow you to spend the allowance on home modifications that reduce fall risk. We're talking grab bars for the bathroom, shower chairs, raised toilet seats, ramps for wheelchair access, and better lighting for hallways and staircases. Falls are the leading cause of injury among older adults. A $200 grab bar installation paid for by your insurance could literally save your life. But again, you have to know the money is there. A smaller number of plans also allow dental and vision expenses. You can use the allowance toward the cost of an eye exam, new prescription glasses, or dental cleanings and fillings. This is especially valuable because original Medicare does not cover routine dental or vision care at all. But here is the catch that kills me. Most of these allowances are issued on a quarterly or monthly basis. And here is the rule you need to tattoo on your forearm: use it or lose it. If your plan gives you $25 in January and you don't spend it by March 31st, that money is gone. It does not roll over into April. It does not accumulate. It vanishes. Some plans allow a small amount of carryover from month to month within the same quarter, but very few allow quarterly balances to roll into the next quarter, and almost none let you carry unused funds into the next calendar year. This is the primary reason why utilization rates are so abysmally low. It is not just that people don't know they have the money. It is that even when they do know, they forget to spend it before the expiration date. Life gets busy. You don't need anything this month, so you tell yourself you'll use it next month, and then suddenly it is April and your $25 is gone. The insurance companies structure it this way on purpose. They know that some people will use the benefit, but many won't. And the ones who don't use it subsidize the ones who do. It is the same logic behind gift cards that expire, except worse, because this isn't a latte at Starbucks. This is money earmarked for your health. Now, you would think that with healthcare costs rising faster than inflation, with seniors struggling to afford their medications, with food prices still elevated, everyone would be scrambling to use every dollar available to them. And some people do. About 30% of enrollees are fully taking advantage. Those are the savvy ones. Maybe they have a family member who helps them manage their benefits. Maybe they stumbled across the information on a Facebook group. Maybe they got lucky with an insurance agent who actually explained the details instead of just selling the policy. But 70% are leaving money behind. And I want to be very clear about something. This is not a small number of people. We are talking about tens of millions of seniors. Medicare Advantage has grown explosively over the past decade. As of 2026, more than half of all Medicare beneficiaries are enrolled in Medicare Advantage plans. That is over 33 million people. If 70% of them are not fully using their wellness benefits, and the average benefit is somewhere around $350 a year, we're talking about roughly $8 billion in unused benefits annually. $8 billion, that is not a rounding error. That is a national scandal hiding in plain sight. It is the biggest legal heist in American healthcare. And the perpetrators are not breaking any laws. They're just following the fine print. And here is another wrinkle that makes this even more urgent. In 2026, some Medicare Advantage plans are quietly scaling back these benefits after years of generous perks designed to attract new enrollees. Insurance carriers are starting to tighten their belts. The government has been ratcheting down reimbursement rates for Medicare Advantage plans, and the insurers are passing those cuts along to consumers. Some plans are reducing their quarterly allowances. Others are eliminating non-health categories like groceries and transportation. A few have dropped the wellness allowance altogether. This means the window of opportunity is narrowing. If you have this benefit today, you need to use it today. Don't assume it will be there next year. Check your annual notice of change document when it arrives in the mail, usually in September or October each year. Compare the benefits from the previous year to the upcoming year. If you see a reduction, you have two options. Use what is left while you still can, or switch to a different plan during the annual enrollment period, which runs from October 15th to December 7th. But let me be realistic about something. Most people are not going to do that. Most people are going to toss that envelope in the trash because it looks like junk mail. Most people are going to ignore the fine print because reading insurance documents is about as enjoyable as getting a root canal. And that is exactly what the insurance companies are counting on. So let me give you a simple, actionable plan, 5 steps. You can do all of them in under an hour, and the payoff could be hundreds of dollars. Step 1, find your insurance card. Every Medicare Advantage plan issues a member ID card. On that card, there is a customer service phone number. Call that number when you get an agent on the line. Ask them 3 specific questions. Question 1, does my plan have a wellness allowance, flex card, or OTC benefit? Question 2, what is my current balance, and how much do I get each quarter or month? Get the agent's name and a reference number for the call. Step 2, if you don't feel like making a phone call, and I get it, nobody wants to sit on hold, log into your plan's online member portal. Every major insurer has one. You can find the web address on your insurance card or by Googling your plan name plus member portal. Once you're logged in, look for a section called Benefits, Allowances, Flex Card, or Extra Benefits. The balance should be displayed there, along with a list of eligible products and participating retailers. Some portals even let you order products directly and have them shipped to your home for free. That is right, free shipping on items you would have bought anyway, with money you didn't know you had. Step 3. If you are helping a parent or an older relative with their Medicare, do this for them. I cannot tell you how many stories I've heard from adult children who sat down with their mom or dad, logged into their insurance portal, and found hundreds of dollars in unused benefits. One woman told me she found $420 sitting in her mother's account. Her mother had been on that plan for 3 years and never knew. She spent the entire balance on vitamins, compression socks, and a blood pressure monitor. Her mom said it felt like winning the lottery, except it wasn't luck. It was just information she never had. Step 4. Set a recurring reminder on your phone or your calendar. If your benefit is issued monthly, set a reminder for the first week of every month to check your balance and place an order. If it is quarterly, set a reminder for the beginning of January, April, July, and October. Put it in your calendar right now. I'll wait. Call it Wellness Benefit Check. Step 5. Actually spend the money. Don't just check your balance and think, oh, I'll do that later. Do it immediately. Go to the online catalog or the approved store list and place an order. Stock up on items you know you'll use. Pain relievers don't expire for years. Bandages don't go bad. Multivitamins are something you should be taking anyway. If your plan allows groceries, buy non-perishable staples. If it allows transportation, schedule your next doctor's appointment and use the benefit for the ride. If it allows home safety items, order those grab bars. Do it now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. I want to tell you one more story before I wrap this up. There is a man named James. He is 73, lives in Tampa, retired postal worker. His wife passed away 3 years ago. He has been eating a lot of canned soup and frozen dinners because cooking for one feels pointless and groceries are expensive. His daughter, who lives in Atlanta, called him one Sunday and asked if she could look at his Medicare plan online. He said, "Sure, whatever." She logged into his member portal and discovered he had an allowance of $150 per quarter, $600 a year, and he could use it on groceries. She went to the participating store list and found that his local Publix accepted the card. She drove down the next weekend, took him grocery shopping, and they loaded up his cart with fresh fruit, vegetables, chicken, fish, eggs, milk, and whole wheat bread. The total came to $137. The card paid for every single penny. James broke down crying in the checkout line. Not because he was sad, because he had been choosing between eating well and paying his utility bills, and nobody had ever told him he had an extra $600 a year for food. That is the power of this benefit. It is not a gimmick. It is not a tax scam. It is real money allocated by your insurance plan, intended to keep you healthier at home for longer. And the only thing standing between you and that money is information. So here is what I want you to do. When this video ends, don't just scroll to the next one. Take 30 seconds. Find your insurance card or call your mom or text your dad. Find out if you or someone you love has a wellness allowance sitting unused. You might discover that the $500 you thought you didn't have was there all along, waiting for you to claim it. One last thing, since I mentioned that some plans are cutting these benefits in 2026, it is worth saying this. If you find out that your plan has already reduced or eliminated your allowance, do not just accept it. You have options. During the annual enrollment period, you can switch to a different Medicare Advantage plan that offers better benefits. You can also call a licensed insurance broker. They don't cost you anything. By the way, the insurance companies pay their commission, and ask them to help you compare plans in your area. Tell them you specifically want a plan with a strong OTC or wellness allowance. They can show you what is available. Just be careful about switching plans if you have established relationships with specific doctors or specialists, because not every plan has the same network. Make sure your providers are in-network before you make any changes. And if you are one of the millions of seniors who is still on Original Medicare and you think you're missing out, I have good news. You can switch to a Medicare Advantage plan during the annual enrollment period or during the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period, which runs from January 1st through March 31st. Before you switch, do your homework. Make sure the plan covers your prescriptions at a reasonable cost. Make sure your doctors accept it, and then look for a plan that includes a wellness allowance. If you're healthy and you don't have a lot of medical expenses, a plan with a high wellness allowance and a low premium can actually save you money compared to Original Medicare plus a Medigap policy and a Part D prescription drug plan. But I'll be honest with you, Medicare Advantage is not perfect. It has trade-offs, prior authorizations, narrower networks, out-of-pocket maximums that can still be substantial. For some people, original Medicare with a Medigap plan is the better choice. That is a personal decision that depends on your health, your finances, and your tolerance for administrative hassle. What I'm not saying is that everyone should switch to Medicare Advantage. What I am saying is that if you are already in a Medicare Advantage plan, you need to squeeze every dollar of value out of it. And the wellness allowance is the most overlooked dollar of all. If you think this information might help someone you know, share this video. Not because I need the views, but because there is a very good chance that someone in your life is leaving hundreds of dollars on the table right now. Your dad, your aunt, your neighbor. The odds are overwhelming that someone you care about is missing out on this benefit. A single share could put $500 back in their pocket. That is real, that matters. Now let me address a question. I know some of you are asking, you're watching this and you're thinking, this sounds too good to be true. What is the catch? And I respect that skepticism, because in the world of health insurance, nothing is truly free. So let me be completely honest with you about the downsides. First, this money comes with restrictions. You can't cash it out. You can't deposit it in your bank account. You can't use it to pay your rent or your electricity bill, unless you happen to live in one of the small number of states where regulators have allowed utility payments. For the most part, this money is locked into the categories I described. It is valuable, but it is not flexible. If you have no need for OTC products, if you don't take supplements, if you already have all the medical equipment you need, this benefit is worth zero to you. That is not a failure of the system. That is just a mismatch between what you need and what the plan offers. Second, Medicare Advantage plans have real downsides compared to original Medicare. They require prior authorization for certain procedures. They have narrower networks, which means fewer doctors to choose from. They may not cover care you receive while traveling out of state as well as original Medicare would. And while they cap your out-of-pocket costs, that cap can still be as high as $8,850 in 2026. If you have complex health needs, a Medicare Advantage plan could actually end up costing you more than original Medicare with a Medigap policy. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because context matters. The wellness allowance is a real benefit with real value, but it should not be the only factor driving your Medicare decision. If you're happy with your current plan and your doctors, you should absolutely use every available benefit. But don't switch to a plan with a worse network or worse drug coverage just because it offers an extra $200 in OTC money. That is trading long-term health access for short-term cash, and it is rarely a smart trade. The right approach is this. First, maximize the plan you already have. Call them. Check your balance, spend every dollar. Second, if you're shopping for a new plan, treat the wellness allowance as a bonus, not a primary reason to switch. A plan that covers your doctors, your medications, and your hospital stays is worth more than any flex card benefit. But all else being equal, yes, grab the plan with the better allowance. And here is something else to keep in mind. The insurance companies are watching the data. They know that only 30% of enrollees use their wellness benefits, and that is exactly why some plans are cutting them. If you and everyone you know start using every dollar of your allowance, the utilization rate goes up, and the insurance companies have to decide whether to keep offering the benefit or raise premiums to compensate. You casting a vote with your spending is the single best way to send a message that this benefit matters and that you want it to continue. Some consumer advocates have even started organizing what they call wellness allowance challenges in online communities. Seniors sharing the products they bought, the stores where the card worked, the tricks they discovered for stretching their allowance further. There is a Facebook group with over 40,000 members dedicated entirely to maximizing Medicare OTC benefits. People are posting photos of their hauls, comparing plan benefits, and warning each other about which carriers are cutting back. It is grassroots, it is practical, and it works. If that sounds like your kind of community, it is worth finding. Let me leave you with one last story, because stories stick in a way that statistics don't. A few months ago, I heard from a woman in Phoenix named Diane. She is 69, a retired nurse, and she takes pride in being organized. She reads her insurance documents. She tracks her spending. She thought she was on top of everything. During her annual checkup, her doctor mentioned that her blood pressure was creeping up and suggested she monitor it at home a few times a week. Diane went to Walmart, bought a $60 blood pressure monitor, and paid for it out of pocket. It didn't even occur to her to check her insurance for coverage. A week later, she was at a community center event where someone mentioned the Medicare Wellness Allowance. She went home, logged into her plan portal, and found she had $280 sitting unused. $280. She could have bought the top of the line blood pressure monitor, the one with the Bluetooth syncing and the color-coded readings, and still had money left over for vitamins, a heating pad, and new compression socks. Diane told me she felt foolish, but she shouldn't have. She is not the problem. The problem is a system that buries valuable information under layers of jargon and fine print. Then acts surprised when people don't dig it up. The retirement system in this country is not designed to be generous. You have to fight for every dollar. You have to read the fine print. You have to make the phone calls. You have to set the reminders. Nobody is going to come to your door and hand you $500 and say, "Here, use this for your health." That is not how America works. But the money is there, buried under the paperwork, hidden in the benefit summary, waiting for the small minority of people who take the time to look. Be one of those people. That is all for today. Thank you for watching.